Views expressed here are not supported by and do not reflect those of the Evening Rush Network. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Live by the Three Sports Podcast on the Evening Rush Network. This is Coach Matt checking in with my main man Ty. What's going on, Ty? How have you been?
I'm good, man. How you been?
Good, man. Good. Just trying to catch up on March Madness is in full swing. We were first full day was last week when we were on last, and so we had a full weekend of it, and it's back starting again tonight. The Sweet 16. So it's an exciting time. So but before we get started on that, why don't you let the people know how they can follow us and continue to support the program and get all the updates and keep getting the good content.
You can follow us on Instagram at Live by the Three Sports Podcast, all streaming networks, Amazon Fire Stick, anywhere where there's internet streaming services, you can find us at.
Yep. Yeah. Please follow the YouTube page. Please check us out on the Evening Rush Network, and please download that app, not just to follow our program, but also stay in touch with the other shows on the Evening Rush Network. A lot of good content, different varieties of on the channel that you can get your fix of good content, music, entertainment, talk. So please subscribe to the app and continue to support. Why don't we get right into it? So March Madness, it's that time of year. We're down to the Sweet 16 now. Got some teams that advanced. So we didn't talk about when we were on. We didn't get a chance to talk about FDU, who made they won their first 4 game. I think it was Thursday when we were on. No, I'm sorry, it must have been either Tuesday or Wednesday. And then they got in the get into the round of 64, and then upset Purdue. Did you get a chance to check out that game or any of the highlights at least?
I checked out the highlights, but did they get in? How did they get in? They got in because somebody else couldn't get in or something?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So it's an interesting story. So what happened is they did finish like either second and third in their conference, in the Northeast Conference. And they advanced in the tournament, but Merrimack, which is a school that is still in the process of transitioning, so they are Division I, and they have been. What's that?
They're not eligible yet?
Right. They're not eligible to go to the NCAA tournament. They're still in their probation period or whatever they call it. So they are not eligible to go to the NCAA tournament. So they ended up playing them in the championship game, and they lost, but it didn't matter. So actually, from what I heard, when FDU won their semifinal game, they actually celebrated and cut down the nets and did the whole thing because they knew that their matchup with Merrimack, even though that technically they were playing for the championship, that the game didn't really have, technically, I guess Merrimack is the, won the championship, but they knew that they couldn't advance to the NCAA tournament. So once FDU won their semifinal game, they actually celebrated the fact that they knew they were going to the NCAA tournament because their opponent was Merrimack. So kind of a weird story how that worked out. I coached against Coach Tobin Anderson, who was at FDU, and a few of the guys that were on FDU's team were transfers from St. Thomas Aquinas, where he was a coach last season. So he did a great job in his first season. FDU won 4 games last year, and he ended up getting them 2 NCAA wins, and then a couple of days later, Rick Pitino goes to Iona, and then he becomes the coach of Iona when Rick Pitino goes to St. John's. So, credit to him and his team and the players. Yeah, it happens fast. So, he went from Division II 2 years ago to a couple NCAA tournament wins, and then, gets another opportunity in Division I. So, but college basketball, college athletics. So that was a big upset, and they're saying because of where they were ranked, because they weren't the regular season champion, they weren't the conference champion, and they ended up being a 16 seed, and Purdue was the number 1 overall seed, I believe. So they're saying that technically that they feel is the bigger upset of all time, even over UMBC, because UMBC won their conference tournament. So they're basically saying FDU was even, a low, I don't want to say lower caliber team, but, less, I don't even know how to describe it, but, right, exactly. So that, their win was even more impressive. And, listen, just like we talked about last week, those guys went right at Purdue. They played with no fear. They took them out of their element. The big kid Edie was, doing his thing a little bit, but they made their guards really uncomfortable and played their style of game. A little bit of that elephantitis thing, right? Elephant, allegedly are scared of mice because they can't see them when they're scurrying around their feet, type of deal. So, it's a little bit of that, where these little dudes are running around out there. Big dudes don't know how to react to it, or they're just too slow to react to it. But, balls in the basket before they have a chance to react. So there was that, a couple of other, lower seeds advanced. We can go through it a little bit. But yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting story with FDU. Yeah, it's college athletics, man. It's a crazy business. Yeah, so the big thing is too, and we talked a little bit about the coaching carousel, and since we touched on that, we'll jump back into the scores, but since we touched on that, Rick Pitino, as we saw, been at Iona, I want to say the last 3 or 4 seasons, can't remember, and he is now the head coach of St. John's. He accepted. I want to say Iona lost on Friday, maybe, and he got named the coach Sunday or Monday. Or I think he met with St. John's on Sunday, and then they had the press conference Monday morning. So it happened kind of quick.
Isn't Homeboy? I heard Red Homeboy is suing the way he got fired, right?
He is. Yeah. St. John's is claiming that they fired him with cause, not just for not winning enough games, and they're trying to highlight some things that he did not. I don't know, man. It's obviously there's 2 sides to a story. It's messy. I don't know who's right, who's wrong, but yes, they are trying to fire him with cause so they don't have to pay him the money that he is owed on his contract, which is unfortunate. Obviously, they have their side of things. He has his side of things. Maybe it's a negotiating ploy. Maybe they're like, okay, we owe, I think, because I heard the number, I think they owe him maybe like $11 million because he had like 2 years left on his deal. And so maybe they're trying to say, okay, we want to fire you with cause. So we pay you nothing. He wants all of his money, obviously, as he should, because that's what the contract stipulates. But maybe it's a negotiating thing where it's like, all right, we don't want to pay you anything. You want it all. Maybe we meet somewhere, maybe not exactly in the middle 50-50, but it ends up being less than what they're on the hook for. And that's the way they're going to try to go about it, which is unfortunate, especially if what they're saying is the cause is not true, or just very shaky at best. And try, because he didn't. Go ahead.
They saying for failing to encourage athletes standards, not properly supervising his assistants, and not doing his job in a way that reflects positively on St. John's University.
Right. So I mean, obviously, things happen, man. Like, behind the scenes, that's any college basketball, that's any program, regardless of the level. Things happen behind the scenes. I can't say that, like I said, I'm not there every day. I don't know what St. John's position is. Obviously, Mike Anderson just feels he deserves all of his money, as he should. And you've signed a contract. So, so, hey, listen, you don't want him as a coach anymore, pay him. But, and they got, at that level, they have dudes that can just, pay it off, or a few dudes, pull their money together and pay it off. You want to go in the different direction, go ahead, but pay the man his money. Like,
how much they for?
I did not sign that. I did not see what the amount was, but he's a Hall of Famer, man, and he's one of the best to ever do it. So, I know he didn't come cheap. I know he didn't have to, move. And he's made a lot of money in his career. Maybe he didn't stick him all the way up for what he could have gotten, and maybe he said, okay, yeah, I'll take this, but I still want this amount of money, but put it more towards the program and what we're trying to do, whether it's facility upgrades or the way they travel or assistance budgets, so that all of that, I'm sure, goes into the negotiating deal. But, Rick likes his suits, man. And he's got a lot of them. He's been collecting them, but, he likes his suits. He likes the, his wine. He likes his Italian restaurants. He likes, he lives on a golf course. So, listen, and he's earned it, man. Dude, he's one. in my lifetime, as far as watching coaches, to me, he's top 2 or top 3, if not number 1. He's really good, man. Really, really, really good coach. Yes, he gets good players, but there's also times where he develops guys that people didn't see coming. It's not that every year he has the best of the best. He really develops guys. They get better. Great strategists before the game, in-game coaching. Patino's really good. So I think St. John's, I think it's a great hire for St. John's. I believe that he will do really well there. Really, really well, because he's won everywhere he's been, and he's good. He's very, 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 very good coach. Shameless plug, UMass grad, so that's that they're got that connection too. So I'm looking forward to see what he did. I met Mike Anderson once, and he was gracious enough to have us come over to play St. John's in an exhibition game a few years ago when he got the job. And actually, as crazy it is, St. John's and Queens College are only 1.5 miles away from each other, but it was the first time they had ever played, in any format, exhibition game, whatever. So, little history, being made there, and he, blessed us with that. So I'm always appreciative to him for that. And
who won the game?
St. John's did. But you know what? It was. What's that?
Was it close?
Not close score wise, but I did not feel that that game we did not back down. I think we got it. And there was a point in the second half where we had cut it to 8, I think. And we were like, we were rumbling with them for, a good amount of time. And then, the high level kind of jumped up a little bit, but I never felt like our kids backed down. They, we gave it everything we had. Did we play perfect? No, but, I think we comported ourselves well. It wasn't an embarrassment by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not going to say we held our own, but, we went right at them and, competed. And yeah, I was very proud of my team that day, because in those type of games, you don't know how they're going to react to that, that spotlight and that, environment and stuff like that. And I was really proud that, we went right at them. We played, we didn't back down. We had some highlights, guys, stepped up and made plays. And like I said, just didn't back down. So as a coach, I'll take that. If we go in there, no fear, and play, and the other team's better than us, I'll take that any day of the week. They got no complaints from me after that was over. So I was proud of them.
Let me ask you this. So a lot of times you hear people say the game was a lot closer than what the score.
Yep.
How was that? No, I'm like, is it like?
Well, because
is it like you start out down 20 and then from that point on, it's just a tough game?
Right. There's different factors of. I mean, a lot of it, obviously, is the eye test, right? Like if you watch a game, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's games where the score was close, but realistically, you knew the other team just hadn't. You know what I mean? Like it's to me, it's the eye test. So like if you say that the score wasn't a true indicator of how the game went, sometimes it could be like you was with them the whole time, but you couldn't make a shot. So the other team, the score goes up, or you're with them the whole time and can't make a free throw, so that's why the score, went the way, so it's different ways that can happen. Sometimes you watch a game and like I said, a team might only lose by 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points, but you like, listen, man, they just got outclassed the whole time and they had no chance. So really, I think, the numbers never lie, and the box score is what it is, right? Like you can't run away from that. It's in black and white. But sometimes just the way the flow of the game goes, or just from the eye, just watching the game, you can say, they were in it. It just, got away from them at certain points where they couldn't, cut the lead down, and it ballooned a little bit. But you can rumble guys, I mean, because like it's like anything, right? Like you could be playing in a game and your starting 5 might be able to keep it close with their starting 5, but if their bench guys are way better than your bench guys, then that's where the game can get what I mean? So it might be say it goes like that. You're playing your starters and then you're right there with them, but then either guys get in foul trouble, they get tired, and now you have to bring your bench guys in, and then that's where the score balloons. So the score is still what it is, but when you put your main guys back in the game, if they're going toe to toe with them, that's an example of the score may not indicate it, because when you have your best players in, they might be, right there with them. But just when you had to go to your bench or whatever, that's where the game got out of hand. So, I mean, there's different ways to look at it. A win is a win, a loss is a loss. You don't, you can't make excuses, and there's no, what do they call that? Um, I don't know why it's leaving me today, but there's no such thing as. I mean, I guess sometimes you can have a good loss, but moral victories. That's the word I was looking for. So, moral victories can and not exist. But yeah, I was proud of my team that, like I said, we went in there, we did not back down, we didn't show any fear, and we went toe to toe with those guys, and they, stepped it up with their talent as they should, but. That's all you can ask for, man. If your kid's going in, I always tell them, it's unfortunate you have to say it, right? Because we had some incidents this year in college sports with and pro sports too. But I always tell guys, listen, when you step in between the lines, you can be pretty sure that nobody has a gun out there. So there's no reason to be afraid. Just go out there and play basketball, and whatever happens, happens. There's no reason to be afraid. It's a basketball game. Just hoop and see what happens.
Okay. So, Kansas State up by 2.
Are they? Oh, yeah. No. Kansas State is good, man. That Jerome Tang, he's done a good job, man. He was an assistant for a long time at Baylor. And you never know how those situations change when guys move from the assistant, being an assistant coach to a head coach. But he's done a great job. Great job. Did you see that when after Kansas State beat Kentucky, and I guess Coach Calipari was in the press conferences, and actually, Kansas State has a point guard by the name of Marquise Noel, who's actually a New York kid. Went to Bishop. He's not. I don't think he's from Brooklyn, but he went to Bishop Lachlan for a few years, and then he transferred. Transferred to a couple of Division I schools, and now he's at Kansas State playing really well, really well. And after the game was over, I guess Coach Cal, I don't think he meant any harm by it, but he was saying, "Oh, the little kid." And he's only like 5'8" or whatever, but he played well. And I didn't actually see that game, but from the reports, they said he was balling. And I guess the young man, I'm about to say, the young man took exception to what Cal was saying, and then some of the assistant coaches stepped up and went on social media and saying, this, that, and the third. Like, why are you referring to him as that? And it kind of turned, not a huge thing, but it turned into a little bit of a thing that they felt that Coach Cal was disrespectful. And from what I understand, he reached out to the young man, Marquise Noel, with a phone call and said, "Hey, I apologize. You're a great player. I didn't mean anything by it." And then Marquise Noel went on to his social media and say, "Hey, just letting everybody know, Coach Cal reached out. We're good. No hard feelings." That type of thing. So, and you like to see that, that'll bring us around to, another topic about people showing contrition, right? And admitting when they make a mistake and not doubling down on it and not continuing to, say things that are incorrect. And, when you do that, you may not always be forgiven, or you may not always be able to right the wrongs. But to me, that's a big thing to admit, when you've made a mistake, and you like to see that.
Okay.
So
7 with 4 minutes.
What is it now?
Kansas State up 7 with 4 minutes.
Yeah. I'm a little. My Google's a little slow because mine says 5 minutes. They're up 5. So, yeah. And the UConn's up big on Arkansas. They're up 17 at halftime. UConn's another one, man. They're good. They got a complete.
Are they really good?
They are, man. They're really good guard that shoots it. And then they have a really good big guy. That's so they have that inside outside thing, and they got good role players. Their guys come in like when I watch UConn, they have the two guys, and it really seems like the other guy, they have the two guys that they're go-to guys, but what I see with them is really no ego. The guys that are role players, they come in and they do what they do. The guys that are supposed to shoot, they shoot. The guys that are supposed to handle the ball and get the ball to their two top guys, they do that. Guys that are just supposed to come in and screen and rebound, they do that. It's interesting. They have a good thing going. So yeah, that's and then we got 2 more games tonight. We got Florida Atlantic, who, they're the darling right now. They're on the run. Florida Atlantic, a 9 seed, and smaller program. In stature, they got Tennessee tonight. That game's at 9, and then you got Gonzaga, UCLA, a West Coast powerhouse matchup on the.
That's a good game.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good game. 2 big guys too in that game.
He got 14 and 14. Marcus Noel got 14 points.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good, man. It's a good player. Good, tough player. Throwback New York City guard. You know what that's about. You know what it is, right? So yeah, and then some. So we got some really good games coming up tonight. Florida Atlantic has been the giant killer against Tennessee. We'll see what they can do. And then Gonzaga UCLA, that's a big time one. Then tomorrow we got San Diego State against Alabama. I want to touch on something that we could rock with that a little bit. And then you got Miami against Houston. Houston's been playing great. Princeton against Creighton. Princeton, they're in the Sweet 16. They're rolling. And then you got Xavier against Texas tomorrow night. So some primetime matchups and big time matchups. So did you see what Nick Saban said in his press conference? So apparently Nick Saban had one of his incoming recruits get caught up in some legal trouble. They found, I think he got pulled over, and in the car they found, marijuana, which, state to state, the laws are different, but they said they found a lot of weight on him, and they found scales, and they found gun, I believe. So, he's being charged with, intention to distribute and all of that. So once that came to light, Nick Saban cut ties and said, hey, that's it. You're out. You're not, you're done. You're not going to be a part of this program. And so I guess when he had a press conference, he was asked about it, and he didn't mention the basketball team specifically, but he made a comment to the effect of, there's no such thing as the wrong place at the wrong time. Basically, like, look, man, you get caught up in some stuff because you're hanging around the wrong people and doing the wrong things. It is what it is. You should pay the penalty for that. And everybody moves on. And so people took that as a shot at Alabama basketball. So he didn't try to clarify it either way to say, yes, I was talking about them. No, I am not talking about them. I don't know if they had previous friction between, I don't know if Nate Oates and Saban get along. I don't know the dynamics of that. You would think if they did, even if Saban had those feelings about what transpired, that he wouldn't air it out like that. Or maybe he's that type of dude and he would and just doesn't care. I don't know. But, so I don't know if you saw the comment, and obviously you don't know Nick Saban personally, but would you think that was a shot?
Yeah, indirect shot. Probably just to, how you can like overcompensate for things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Probably maybe a little bit of that too. But it's a whole different program, so he could say
absolutely.
Ain't nothing gonna happen.
Right, absolutely.
Was the player any good?
I mean, he's going to Alabama. You know what? Well, I was reading an article. I was reading an article. I'm sure he was one of the top rated at his position, if not no. I mean, that's what Alabama does, right?
Oh, he didn't play yet.
No, he was supposed to be right. He was an incoming freshman. Maybe how sometimes in football, like they'll enroll early, like in the spring, so they can do like play in the spring and do all that stuff like that. What's that?
That don't even count yet.
Right. But and that's I was reading an article about it, and they were saying, yeah, like the kid was a good player, but at the end of the day, it's Alabama, so they always have good guys. So it's not like they have another dude that's ranked at the top.
They just him indefinite from the program, but he's
right. So maybe they have to do that because the legal process hasn't played itself out yet. But right, he's suspended indefinitely. Right. So now the question is. Well, it's two things. If Nick Saban, like I said, I don't know what their relationship is, but do you think if he took a shot at him, do you think it was, hey, I'm just speaking my truth and I'm going to let it be known regardless of what the relationships are? Because I'm sure the president of the school wasn't happy that he made a comment like that. I'm sure the athletic director wasn't happy that he made a comment like that. But again, he's Nick Saban. What are they really going to do? Now, was it a morality thing why he said that? And of course, you would hope that he's not, for people getting shot and killed, right? But do you also think maybe it was a way to distance his program from Alabama basketball? Obviously, Alabama football has their own brand. But if he says, hey, look, man, I'm not that type of coach. I'm not with that. So if one of my kids get in trouble, I'm not doing what them dudes are doing. So is that maybe like to for his recruiting or just whatever, to distance himself from the basketball program?
It could be a little shade. It could be a little. He might have beef with the what do you call them people? With the what do you call the people in the school? The administration.
Administration, right?
I mean, it might be a dig at them too, because just because they're in the same school don't mean that they all get along.
For sure, absolutely.
I don't know. It's just interesting though. I mean,
right.
I don't know. He's at the age he can do what he wants, say what he wants. They ain't gonna do nothing.
Right.
But
I don't know. Now again, he's created a legacy, and he's obviously, he's tremendous, right? But Alabama has they're all about national championships, and they haven't won one in a couple of years. And now here you got the basketball team, number 1 overall seed. You know what I mean? Like, not to say that Alabama basketball is going to leapfrog Alabama football. Like, we just know that's not happening, right? You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking at it. Every article is saying that he's throwing shade at the coach.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I'm saying, you're right. Like, yeah. So it's
He drove 141 miles per hour trying to evade the police.
Whew, there you go. Yeah, he was riding dirty,
Jesus.
Got a gun, got weight, got scales. He was, he was moving some stuff. So yeah. So then 141. Sheesh. Yeah. That's a problem.
They said he had drugs, weapon, cash in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scales. Yeah, yeah. So he. I mean, like you said, it's an indefinite suspension. But I mean, if they got him all of that, and he's doing 141 in a gun, and I mean, he's, you hope he has a good lawyer, but it sounds like he might be. He's got some bigger, things to deal with than football. That's for sure. Football and going to college. So
yeah, but I mean, why doesn't he get the same chance as homeboy get? Is it because he's not as talented, or they both black?
Well, which one are you talking about though? The one that actually shot the kid, shot the young lady, or the one that brought the gun to the person?
Well, actually, the guy that shot him, he was hurt. He was
right. He was either red shirting or right, or he had either torn his ACL or something. But so he was probably going to be a red shirt. But when that happened, he was still part of the team.
So they got rid of him immediately.
Oh yeah, immediately he was out. Right. So he wasn't playing, and he's not a lottery pick. So yeah, he was out of there real quick. But and it is true. I was reading an article today that Brandon Miller has not been charged. He hasn't been. But no, at this point, I mean, what are you going? Unless some other facts come out, some video surfaces or something, or they find something else out. Somebody else steps forward and says something, and maybe they have to bring him back in. But yeah, I mean, from what they're saying, they did the investigation, and yeah, they're not charging him. So, and when you look at it from that perspective, right? Obviously, Alabama's having a great season, and it is all Alabama, and I get all of that. But do you think that he's getting, Alabama football? Because I'm saying it like this: Alabama football is the thing, right? So if one of those kids gets in trouble, you could see them maybe getting off for it. But now this kid that did 140 and all of that, he may not be getting off. Even though Brandon Miller's a lottery pick and Alabama basketball is doing well, do you think it could be a case that maybe they're looking the other way because he's doing so well? Because the thing is just like they might, but do they really care that much about basketball down there? Everybody likes winning, but do they care enough about basketball to look the other way of someone being involved in a homicide? Do they like Alabama basketball that much? Or is it legit? Okay, they're saying that.
Missing a big component of that.
What is that?
They could possibly win the national championship.
Yeah, I get that. But I'm saying the people involved, like Nate Oates, Nate Oates is not Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? He don't have the same connections. He doesn't have the same juice down there. Alabama basketball doesn't have the same juice. Yes, they can win a national championship. It's still not Alabama football. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Duke football. If like a Duke football player does something, yeah, or a North Carolina football player. Okay, yeah, you can do that. And you go to North Carolina, you go to Duke, but it's not the same as a Duke back. You're still not Coach K. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that juice. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's legitimate that Brandon, that the charges or whatever, that they said, look, we legit don't have anything to do anything to this kid. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. But I would I would say that it's a little home cooking going on. I mean, why would you? Not why, but why? Yeah, like why would you want to jeopardize
I get
his
it.
career? Be jeopardized. Alabama program would be jeopardized.
I get it.
And it could be some unwarranted heat on Nick Saban just having to be a part of that and having to answer those questions. He probably tired of that too.
That's what I was saying before. That's what I think might have been his reaction to, because otherwise he could have easily just said, I have no comment. I don't know what's going on. I don't, you know what I mean? I wish everybody well. I'm sorry the young lady got killed, but I really don't know. He kind of,
because he offered that.
Right. He drew the law in the sand, drew the line in the sand. We don't do that over here. He made it like that. Right.
We don't do that.
Right. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure they had some players that got into some shit.
Sure.
They should never. Right. But now we're talking about what type of culture is it over there where they have access to all that stuff.
Listen.
You understand what I'm saying?
I absolutely do. And again, like we spoke on the last week, I don't know what y'all are doing and who y'all hanging out with and why y'all involved in that stuff. Just go to a nice college party where nobody got a gun and listen to some music and dance and have fun and go back to your room. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're in college, man. You ain't got to be involved in all of that. Forget about the fact that you're a basketball player, football player. You're in college. Go to a college party. Have some fun. Go back to your room. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, life is simple. Like, listen, these guys don't know. I mean, I guess they know how good they have it. But in a way, it's like, yo, man, you're in college. Yo, have fun. It's the best time of your life. Why are you dealing with all of this other stuff? Have fun, man. That's what college is for. But, well, you're supposed to be doing schoolwork, but play some ball. But all right. Well, we'll take a quick break here for halftime, and then after the break, we'll come back with more on Live by the Three Sports podcast with Tyler and Coach Matt.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Chrissy, here to let you know that the Evening Rush Network now has an app. Yes, an app, you guys, so you can stay connected on the go and watch all your favorite podcast shows. You can download the app at Google Play Store or Apple iTunes. So spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, if you're looking to start a podcast and really don't know how, well, hit us up at the Evening Rush Network at gmail.com and inquire about time slots, pricings, and everything you may need to get started. We got you. Join the winning team, the Evening Rush Network. And also, download that app. What are you waiting for? Get to it.
We're back. We're back with Live by the Three Sports podcast on the Evening Rush Network. So one thing we didn't touch on, but it kind of revolves around college sports and college athletics was, now is the time of year, more so for basketball. Football had their coaching carousel going on. A little, obviously earlier in the year after the football seasons, and now it's basketball time where now you see that coaching carousel start to spin. Coaches are losing their jobs. Coaches are replacing other coaches and moving into other positions, up, down, laterally, all around, and it does pose an interesting dynamic now when coaches come into a program and that program either has high expectations. Well, all programs are going to have expectations, but when a new coach comes in, he can approach it in a couple of different ways. He can come in and kind of embrace the young men that are in the program and say, hey, I want to work with you guys. I want to, help you guys out to be the best you can be. And, you guys have been a part of this program. And I might be becoming the coach because you guys haven't been as successful as maybe the expectations of the school and the administration and the fan base are expecting. That could be the reason, or it could be that your coach left for, to take another position and now a new coach is being hired. So it's not always coming from a losing culture or things like that. And you see that, for instance, like say the Georgetown and Providence situation with Ed Cooley going from Providence to Georgetown. So Providence hired a new coach with Kim English, who was at George Mason, but Providence has been doing well the last few years with Ed Cooley. Same thing with Iona. With Tobin Anderson from FDU getting that job, Iona's been doing great with Rick Pitino. So it's not always that you're coming into a losing culture. But in the Colorado situation with Coach Prime, it was. In the St. John's situation, not a total losing, but maybe the expectations, weren't being met to the satisfaction of the administration, the fan base, whatever the case, fair or unfair, that is the stated reason as to why a move was made, right? But those Coach Prime and Rick Pitino were very outspoken about, hey, listen, when I'm coming in, a lot of people are not going to be here because it's not going to be a good fit for them. It's not going to be a good fit for me, and they should move on, right? So what is your feelings about that? Do you feel that it's right or fair, whatever, however you want to describe it, for when a coach takes over a program to come in? Should he embrace the kids that are there and try to work with them and see what's going on or whatever the case is? And, maybe you might have some honest conversation with kids, but be more, I guess, come in, with a sense of, hey, listen, I want to try to work with you people, with these young people and do that type of thing. Or should you just come in, yo, man, listen, this ain't for you. Go kick rocks. We're going in a different direction. Now they're telling them the truth, and they're giving them and they're telling them, hey man, listen, the transfer portal's open. Put your name in it. People are looking for other players. You can find another opportunity, but I haven't even met you yet. I've never seen you on the court personally, but yeah, this ain't for you. So go ahead. What's your? And you were a college athlete. So let me pose it this way. Did you have a coaching change while you were you playing? Okay, so you had the same coach. So, but let's pretend, for argument's sake, if you were playing, you're a sophomore going to your junior year, so you're right down the middle, and a new coach comes in the program. Would you appreciate it if he came in and said, "Hey, I want to try to work with you, see what's going on, get a feel for everybody," and then maybe 2-3 months after he gets to know you, says, "I don't know if this is a good fit," and then you have to make a decision and do what you want to do? Or would you prefer it if a coach day one said, yo, man, nah, this ain't for you, go find another school? How would you have been preferred to been dealt with?
Probably the latter.
Okay.
It's just it's hard because I think everything is based off the levels, right? So based off the level of coach you are, you're gonna require a certain amount of things. So like if you coming in a new coach, you don't have the luxury of telling people, "Nah, I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you." Mm-hmm. But like let's say a Rick Pitino, you can say that because you know what you're bringing in.
Right.
You know what you're attracting. You know exactly what you want to succeed, what you think you need to succeed. And I'm pretty sure he did the research on what was there and was like, "Nah, this is not it. This is the program." Because ultimately, yes, St. John's name is on the line, but his name is on the line as well.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say it's necessarily. I mean, sometimes it is what it is. It happens in the real world. Someone comes in, you get a new director, you get a new boss. Yeah, you probably was doing good under the old regime, but I'm bringing my people in because I know how I work and I know how I want my people to work, and I know they can do what I need them to do. It's cruel. It could be kind of cruel, but I mean, the reality is like, yo, listen, coaches change. But, you can. And it could work both ways. Like he could really want them,
and they could decide to leave.
They could be like, "Nah, Rick, you're not it for me."
Right.
Going to Iowa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just business. You know what I'm saying? When you asked me that question, I was thinking to myself, when I was younger, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, "Hold up, I've been in school 2 years. I got a family, friends, and now I got to go somewhere else."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I probably wouldn't even know how to emotionally deal with that at the
point. Exactly.
You ain't gonna make it. What do you mean? You ain't gonna make it?
And that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. But that's the population you're dealing with.
No, but I'm
you're
saying
dealing with young people.
How would you say to me, I ain't cutting it, but I've been cutting it for 2 years?
Right. Or you haven't even met me yet. How do you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe I would respond, and that's the tough part, right? I see it two ways. Like, yes, like, it's cruel, it's harsh, it's business, it's all of those things. The one thing that bothers me a little bit though, but we all know how the game is played. I hate the way they say like, oh, the coach comes in and he's taking such and such a scholarship. I'd like to dispel that right now. There's no such thing. A coach cannot come in and take somebody's scholarship unless the kid either is ineligible, has been getting in trouble in school, or not doing, ineligible, get in trouble on campus, or like, disciplinary things or something like that. or they render themselves ineligible because they break some amateurism rule or they fail a drug test, something like that. You can't take somebody's scholarship. You can't. That's the rule. Now, you used to be able to do that, right?
You can't manipulate that unofficially to take somebody.
No, you can't. No, because what happens is if the kid really wants to stay at the school, they can appeal it and say, listen, I don't want to give up my scholarship. I want to be here. I haven't done anything to have because you cannot base it on athletic ability and you can't base it on injury. So for instance, like my father played at Furman, right? He was a good player. They went to the NIT his junior year. He played in JUCO for 2 years, went to Furman. They made playing in the NIT. He comes home back to New York, rips his knee up. Now, this is in the 60s, early 70s. So there was, ACL, ACL back then, you're done. Like, that's it. That's it, right? So he messes his knee up in the summer, scholarship done. He's just home now. You know what I mean? Like, coach, I ripped up my knee. Okay, don't come back. That's it.
There's a scholarships year to year, though, right? You got to renew every year.
You have, yes, you have to sign it every year, and then there's some schools that actually did the 4 years. But again, all that is it's a year-to-year review process, not a year-to-year. Either you're keeping your scholarship or you're not. It's a year-to-year review process. So basically, what it is every year the coach can say, okay, if they want to, I want to reduce or take away this person's scholarship, and they have to have documented reasons why. And the documented reasons have to come down to, like I said, either they're not doing well in school and they're, having academic issues. They're having either legal troubles on campus or off campus that's documented, or they're doing something to make themselves ineligible, like, taking money, now NIL, all of that is muddied, right? But those are the reasons why you can take it. Technically, the kid can say, coach, I don't want to leave. And I want to stay here. I want to keep my scholarship. If the kid decides that, you can say, okay, you're not on the team, but you're just going to have to eat that scholarship. Because the kid can say, look, I'll come to practice. I'll show up to weightlifting. I'll do everything that you want me to do. I want to be here and keep my scholarship. So if the kid does that, you got to eat that. You know what I'm saying? So what coaches do is they try to make it uncomfortable, or they just hope that, and most 99.9% of the kids are competitive to the point where they say, I want to continue to play. So if this guy tells me I'm not playing and I'm not really going to be a part of what's going on, then I'm going to leave and go somewhere else where I will feel like I'm a part of the team. But they say, oh, they're taking a scholarship. They're really not, if you really get down to it. That's a choice that the kid ends up making. Now, is it an uncomfortable choice and a choice that they don't want to make, whether it's playing or not playing? Yes. But they can still continue to go to school and graduate if they want to. So that's one point of distinction, I always try to make when people get into these conversations about how messed up it is. And it's not that it's not messed up, but at the end of the day, if the kid says, I want to stay in school and I want to graduate from this school that I had a scholarship for, and they haven't done anything wrong academically or anything like that, they can keep their scholarship and stay in school. So I just like to point that out. But when the coach, like you said, like Rick Pitino comes in or Coach Prime, and they know what they want, and they're going to, drop the line in the sand, like, we're over here, this is what we're doing, and you're not a part of this. With the transfer portal and stuff like that, I guess it does make it a little bit better for that kid to know that up front. So now they're in the transfer portal, and they're, so while there's still opportunities to get another scholarship, to go to another school, it's all, it's a good thing for them. So like you said, as harsh as it is, it probably is a little bit of a better way. You would like to kumbaya it and say, hey, man, I'm going to embrace you guys, and let's see if we can work together first. And then if it doesn't work, then, I'll try to help you find a better situation for you. You wish that it would come, kind of happen like that. But, like I said, it's big business and it's high expectations. So maybe you got to come in with the hatchet instead of the scalpel, as they say. So, that's the way a lot of these situations end up going. But, yeah, it's tough. So, so let's, so we good with the tournament. So let's just recap that. So how we doing on these games? What's going on in the Kansas State game?
Kansas State was up 2 in 19 seconds.
Ooh, rolling. He's trying to go to the 8.
Tied up with 6 seconds left.
Ooh, hey, Tom Izzo, man, one of the best to ever do it. One of the best to ever do it. He's not gonna go down without a fight. Damn. And UConn's just rolling on Arkansas. Wait, now let me ask you a question. And we don't talk about the racial implications of stuff on here a lot, but let's just. Have you seen and I don't have anything against him. I just, full disclosure, I got nothing against him. I think he does a good job. I think he's a good coach. I like the excitement and all that. I'm talking about the coach from Arkansas, Musselman. I think Eric is his first name, Musselman.
What did he say? He said something crazy?
No, but when they win a big game, he takes his shirt off and runs into the crowd.
Oh, that's what's wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's great. But do you, devil's advocate, do you think if a minority coach did the same thing, it would be looked at the same way as far as, hey, he's just having fun, look the other way, hey, it's great, he's showing excitement, enthusiasm, and all of that? Or do you think black coaches are held to a different standard, or minority coaches are held to a different standard where they have to, maintain their professionalism? And if they were to do something like that, it would be taken differently as far as.
He married to a black woman, right?
Yes, I do know that.
He's black. He's kind of black. So.
By osmosis. So okay, maybe. I don't know.
Because he's who he is, he didn't get no backlash for doing that.
I mean, okay. Let me say this. I'm not gonna say they're gonna fire him over it. That may be a little bit extreme, but I don't know if he got any pushback from his administration. The sports writers, the people that media that either create or push or just deliver a narrative, however you want to describe it, they don't seem to make a big deal out of it. They're not saying, oh, this is unprofessional and what is he doing? And, now maybe there might be one person out here, but it doesn't seem to be a narrative that's out there. It's just like, hey, he's having fun. He's enjoying it. It's great. He's in the student section with his shirt off and that's his thing. And it shows how into it he is. And he's with the people and community, all of that. I just get curious that if a black coach would do the same thing, if it would be taken the same way. Would it be say, oh, he doesn't, he's not respecting the game, or he's unprofessional, or, how's he going to have the respect of his players when he's doing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if a black coach was to do that, if it would be taken exactly the same way.
You don't think Deion does stuff like that? Not necessarily take the shirt off, but do things that would warrant those type of comments based off of not professional, but like, how he be dancing, with his music, how he deal with his players. That it's not traditional.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's a fine line. Yes, I mean, there's not definitely.
But we'll go on to the conversation, like most coaches don't do. So, you know what I'm saying?
All right. So my man Ak, former Division I head coach at UMBC, my best man in my meeting. That's my man. He said for black coaches, it would be okay until the first losing streak. It's fair. I mean, if you're taking your shirt off, you better be winning, but that's for sure. That's for damn sure. You better be winning, you know what I mean, if you're doing that. But I don't, from the way this score is looking, I don't know if he's going to be taking his shirt off today, because they're down 25 in the second half. So, and now listen, God bless them if they pull that one out, but it's not looking too good at this juncture. So then okay, so we got this. You got so let's talk about who tonight. We got real quick, we'll go through it. Florida Atlantic and Tennessee. You think Florida Atlantic keeps on their magic run? There's usually always one in the tournament, and Florida Atlantic might be it. You think they got Tennessee?
Yeah, I would go with that. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know you like the Gonzaga UCLA matchup. Who you like in that one?
I'm go with the Zags.
Oh, okay.
Who you like?
UCLA is good, man, and they got a complete team. Gonzaga's always good. I mean, that's a pick 'em. I'll go with UCLA just to be different, so we won't say the same thing. All right. Then tomorrow we got San Diego State and Alabama. San Diego State obviously has been playing well. They're in the Sweet 16. You think they keep rolling, or you think Alabama got them?
That's all.
Bama got them. All right. We got Houston against Miami.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
Like Miami?
I like Miami. My old coach is coach of Miami.
Who's that?
Jim Larinaga.
Okay.
I don't know, but I think Houston's a better team, maybe.
Okay. My My dad played in a couple All-Star games with Larinaga back in the Dizzy, as they say. All right, now you got Princeton, Creighton. Princeton, another one. Princeton, you know, you gonna go crazy. You're not a believer. It's over.
I believe it, but Creighton is a little more disciplined than Missouri.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know if they're gonna rock them to sleep like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And you got Xavier, Texas. Texas. Okay. All right. So we got that. Okay. All right. So we got about 10 minutes left. So
so hold on a second.
Yes, sir.
Moves. Y'all might be getting Zeke.
Who's that?
They might be getting Zeke Elliott.
I did see that they're talking. Listen, man, like
they got McCurl.
Honestly, they're at this point, the Jets are just taking everybody. They're talking about we're going to get Ezekiel Elliott. They're talking about we might be signing. Supposedly that it's at least from reports, they're saying it's serious talks with Odell Beckham. I thought it was just like just a thing.
I think
What's that?
I think he's going to the Chiefs.
Listen?
He won $20 million.
We just got Mecole Hardman from the
that's
from
a nice pickup.
Yeah, so okay, so now that does, not to say if Mecole Hardman was there, they wouldn't take Odell. I'm not saying that, but that does open the door, another slot receiver, whatever. But it's like at this point, man, it's like we're just talking to everybody, which I'm not against it, but it's just like, come on, man. Like now, this dude's coming off of two ACLs, and it's not even about the money. Like it's just. To me, we're just making that classic back page. Not that Odell Beckham is not a good player. I'm not saying that, but it's just like now we're just doing stuff just to create waves and headlines. Like, you know what I mean? Like now we're going to bring in Ezekiel. Again, not saying he's a bad player, but it's just like, are we really trying to build a team? Or are we just trying to just sign everybody that has a little bit of a name? But
he can help you out a lot.
The issue that I have with it is, and I might get criticized for this. I feel like up until like 2 months ago, we had a plan, right? Like we're going to build through the draft. We're going to get these young, exciting players, you know what I'm saying, in the building, and we're going to have like a vision for like long-term success, right? I got a guy that's an offensive player, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. The kid, Breece Hall, that was a running back, would have been the offensive player of the year before he gets hurt. You know what I mean? So you start to see the plan come together. And, we got these good young players. We got all these draft picks. We're making some smart free agency moves, and we're signing guys at good value that are productive. And, you see the vision, and it's like, okay, we can set this thing up for long-term success. And then it's just you go from doing all of that to now right back to the same Mets, Nets, Jets. Thing, just burn it all down, get rid of the good young players, and even if you're not necessarily getting rid of them, but just minimize them because now, okay, we got Garrett Wilson, he's an offensive player, offensive rookie of the year, but now you got Odell Beckham on the other side. Who's winning that? Yo, I want my touches. The rookie or like what are we doing?
They're going to bow down. He's going to respect Odell Beckham. Look at
that's what I'm. So why do we do all of this then?
Because you know what? Part of it is just adapting. They never thought they was going to be in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. Now they get Aaron Rodgers. Now you got to build a team. The running back you had, what's his name? Breece Hall, 463 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Zeke in like 6 or 7 weeks.
But Zeke had almost 900 yards, 12 touchdowns. Just the presence alone is going to help y'all. You don't think so? Well, you play 7 games.
Everything. No. And this is the what'd you say?
Yeah, he played well.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. In history, has it ever worked? For the Mets, the Nets, and the Jets. Every time when they say, okay, yeah, we have a good young nucleus and we're doing all right with those guys and we see the future. And then every time the Mets, the Nets, and the Jets burn it all down and just say, no, we're going to get this superstar that's past their prime. We're going to get this superstar that's past their prime. We're going to get this superstar that's past the time. Yeah, they're exciting names. They sell tickets. It looks great on the back page. It's all this hoopla. Has it worked for any of those franchises?
For the Nets, I would say it worked for the Nets.
How? When they signed Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, okay.
I'm talking about with KD and all of them. Like they was
it still didn't work. No,
it did work. It did work. They just Kyrie got hurt.
That's what I'm saying. It's the karma of it.
Fault of the organization. Kyrie got hurt off a dirty play. They was up by like 50.
But at the end of the day, it still doesn't work. That's what I'm saying.
That's the management's fault.
I'm not saying it's any.
Out.
I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm just saying it's just when you do it, it just for whatever reason it just doesn't work. When the Mets do it, they have good young talent, and that's what when it's not them grabbing the superstars. When they do it, that's when they go in their run. The minute they say we're going to perfect example, we didn't get it's something you wanted to talk about. They signed this big name player, right? Spent a lot of money on him, and then he gets hurt celebrating in the WBC. Again, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm not saying it's management's fault. I'm just saying when they do it, it doesn't work.
I'm more mad, not that he got hurt celebrating, is that they lost the next games.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right, right, exactly. Well, of course, he's one of their better players. He got hurt, but that's what I'm saying. Like it just for whatever you can call it, karma. You can whatever you want to call it. It just Brett Favre. When the Jets got Brett, we traded away Chad Pennington. He was a good quarterback for us. He got hurt a lot, and he wasn't a superstar, but he was a good, solid quarterback. We were in AFC Championship games. When he was healthy, we were a good, formidable team. They get rid of him to bring Brett Favre in. It looks great. We got Brett Favre, the Hall of Famer, Green Bay Packer, all of that. We end up going, we're 8-3 to start the year. And then he gets hurt, and then he leaves to go to that's what I'm saying. Every time, it looks good on paper, it sounds good. It just doesn't work. It doesn't happen for whatever reason. It just doesn't. That's the problem.
I mean, You would know more about the Jets than I would because you lead Jets.
But I see it. That's the thing. I see it with the other teams too. The Yankees, when they do it, when they go and spend money on getting somebody, it works. When they try to slow walk it, it doesn't necessarily work for them. The Knicks, when they try to slow walk it, it doesn't work for them. The Giants, when they try to slow walk it, now the Giants are good now, and they could fall in the trap too, right? They're like, yo, we made the playoffs. We got a good little nucleus. You know what? Let's not mess this up. Let's just keep adding pieces and build on what we have. They're not burnt. They had a good year. They could so perfect. What you said. How come the Giants right now aren't saying, oh, look what we did with the dudes that we got. We made it past the first round of the playoffs with this team. So we could take what we have now and just burn it all down and just grab every big name free agent that's out there. They're not doing that. They're like, yo, no. We think we got a formula with what we have. We'll add some pieces, but we're not going to burn the whole thing down because we're in and say or get greedy like right away. Like, oh yeah, now we're going to
make the playoffs.
But that's what I'm saying. But they could have done the same thing. How come they're not trying to get Lamar Jackson or trying to get like they signed Daniel Jones
because they don't have a quarterback problem.
But you would say, okay, but I'm not a Giants fan, but you would say from what the Giants accomplished last year, do you think that on paper, it might have been, you would look at them and say, well, Daniel Jones is just okay, but the rest of these guys are all right. So why don't they get rid of Daniel Jones and add one of these big names? You know what I'm saying?
Wow, you got a young quarterback that took it to the play. So we only got like a minute left.
Yeah.
No disrespect, right?
Yes.
You speak it as if the Jets have a nucleus.
They do. They do. Okay. And again, I'm not against the Aaron Rodgers thing, but to me now it's going to because, like I said, if we just made the Aaron Rodgers move and add a couple of little pieces here and there, I've been fine with it. But now we're just back to the same thing. Now we're talking about we're going to get Aaron Rodgers and Ezekiel Elliott and Odell Beckham. Like, come on, man.
Real quick, would you rather keep the nucleus you have now or Aaron Rodgers with the people that he wants?
In my heart of hearts, I don't believe that doing it this way is going to work. I just don't.
It ain't working either way. You got to try something.
But I know that the way they always try to do it with the back page signings, as far as like, oh yeah, we're gonna sell more tickets now, and it's gonna be hype. The Jets got Odell Beckham, they got Ezekiel Elliott, they got Aaron Rodgers. it's all going to sound good, and it makes the crash even worse. And then that's when the jokes really come, and we get clowned.
But listen, y'all crashing right into familiar territory. Y'all know the numbers to call.
Nah, it's worse. It's worse. It's worse.
FDNY by name. You know,
but it honestly,
Billy, we need you. Come get us.
But it ends up being worse because everybody's looking at it like, damn, y'all lost it. Y'all had Aaron Rodgers.
That's if they lose.
Listen. I hope I'm wrong. That's the thing I always say. I don't want to be right. I'm just telling you how I feel. I don't see it working if we go this route that it seems that we're going to go. I'll have no choice but to go along with it because that's my crew. And and when we're winning, I'll be celebrating and talking my stuff to other people. And then when it all crashes and burns, I'll take it all because, that's my squad. But I was happy with the direction we're going. I'm not sure how I feel about this direction we're going. It sounds good on paper, all that. If I'm playing Madden and I got Aaron Rodgers and Beckham and all of that, yeah, I'm going to be
dope, Madden.
Yeah, right, exactly. It all sounds good until the locker room falls apart. He's talking about the coach. The young players are mad at the older players because they do it, and it turns into a circus, and the media loves it, especially talking about the Jets. They love it. When the Jets fall. What's that?
Kansas State up by 5 in 1 second. That's 1 second to go. Let's wrap this up before we get.
Yes, sir. But now we great show, man. So
awesome.
So looking forward to another great weekend of March Madness, and by next week we're down to the Final Four. So yeah, it won't be. Is it next week? I think it's the final week, but we'll be down to the Final Four by next week. So that'll be exciting. But so this is Coach Matt and Tyler signing off live by the 3 Sports Podcast. Please, everybody, subscribe to the Instagram and the app and all that to keep following us, and we appreciate the support. And we'll get with y'all next week. Have a great week and weekend. Peace.